In this week's highlight, we'll see how the utilization of urban rail transportation improves a city's mobility. We'll also take a look at how logistics affect a company's business operations. In the first 9 months of this year, the volume of transport on Shanghai's 5 metro lines increased by 25% compared to the same period last year. And by the end of this year, the city's rail track will be extended by another 50%. This week's Haizhe finds out that the utilization of urban rail transportation improves a city's mobility along with cost efficiency.
More than 72 million visitors are expected for the World Expo 2010 in Shanghai. And every day, the traveling volume across the city at that time will hit 45 million. Public transport is expected to carry 80% of the transport volume.
Shanghai is a megacity, is a fast-growing megacity with all the problems a megacity has concerning infrastructure and mobility, and we need solutions for the individual traffic, the individual mobility, and the mass transportation.
In 1993, Shanghai got its first underground metro line, and since 2000, the metro network has been expanding fast. Now Shanghai has 5 metro lines across the urban area and 1 maglev train linking the airport with the city center.
We have seen a dramatic increase in passenger numbers in recent years. The latest records show that more than 2.8 million passengers took the metro on September the 30th this year. The overall transport volume has been increasing at 2 digits every year.
Currently in Shanghai, there are 3 types of rail transport: underground, overground, and SkyTrain, giving a total track length of 145 kilometers and carrying an average of more than 2.2 million passengers per day. This accounts for around 70% of the total capacity of the city's public transport system. At rush hour, a train stops at this platform every 3 minutes. Each train takes around 2,000 passengers at an average speed of 40 kilometers per hour. However, delivering on-time service to a high volume of passengers with no emissions, it doesn't come cheap. Rail construction costs in Shanghai are 500 million yuan per kilometer on average, with the unit price varying from 900 million yuan for the underground metro to 200 million yuan for the SkyTrain. Take Metro Line 1 as an example. The 21-kilometer line costs 10.5 billion yuan to construct. The average annual operation cost is 1.5 billion yuan. And its annual revenue is only around 0.6 billion yuan, which means it needs 20 years to break even.
For public transport, it is hard to leverage all the cost with ticket revenue only. The government's funds are now needed to subsidize public transport, which directs the city's development.
However, rail transportation efficiency is partly measured by high transportation volume. A metro train carriage is designed for 300 passengers, while 1 SkyTrain carries 200.
An efficient rail transportation plan should take both the capacity and construction cost into consideration. In the city center, underground metros are concentrated, and the SkyTrains usually go along with the ring road. And for satellite towns, the city uses the railways on the ground.
By 2010, the total length of the city's rail track will be extended to 400 kilometers, carrying more than 6 million passengers per day. This means that 35% of public transportation will be shouldered by rail transport. In the longer term, 800 kilometers of track will take 50% of passengers, which is in line with the cities like New York and Tokyo. 84Bizwatch.
Transportation also plays a vital role in logistics that largely affect a company's performance. This week, Li Zhangmiao caught up with Wolfgang Pesch, Senior Vice President of Deutsche Messe Germany, the company that stages the annual Hanover Show and CeMIT Asia Logistics Fair. He shares some of his insights on the global trends in logistics development and how Chinese companies are responding to the international revolution.
As global cost on raw materials and labor is on the rise over the past years, many companies actually squeezing their profit margins from more effective logistics. So comparatively speaking, what industries are more demanding on logistics?
Cutting of cost, being more efficient is one of the main topics in the logistics industry. Companies are forced to introduce highly technology logistics concepts like tracking systems, like RFID technologies, etc., in order to save costs, to keep up with the rising costs of raw materials, for example.
To my understanding, industries like automobiles and fashion probably are more demanding on logistics.
Because the competition in the automobile sector is really tough and really hard, so you're right, there is a strong demand for the introduction of high effective logistics concept. But the automotive industry is already very familiar with how sophisticated logistics systems and solutions. I think the trend is going onward to other industries like the pharmaceutical and chemical industry, the nutrition and beverage industry. So these industries are, there's a strong demand and a huge potential to be more efficient and to introduce sophisticated logistics systems.
What particular industries are rising in China?
We see that there is a potential for the improvement of the logistics infrastructure for example, for the textile industry. So logistics networks, tracking systems, and so warehousing and distribution systems for the textile industry.
We know the logistics chain is really long, a big chain. So which component do you think more companies are paying more attention to?
To be more effective, to make sure that the logistics providers can track the goods on its way to the customer. There's a trend, for example, in Europe that the manufacturing industry focusing on the logistic chain, and they don't want to store so much raw materials and products for the manufacturing process. So the logistics providers, the service providers, they are forced to take care that they deliver the goods. Sometimes they have the goods or the raw materials on the street because they have to deliver right in time, because manufacturing companies, they don't want to spend much money for stocking so much material. So these suppliers or these logistics service companies, they play an important role to make sure that the manufacturers can save money, and finally at the end that the end user who is usually not willing to pay a higher price is able to accept the price. So it's a kind of outsourcing of logistics to a third-party logistics company.
There is a trend in the world at this stage is that some big company actually set up a big park, so integrating everything in it. For example, like inventory, production.
We are talking about some trends. We call it logistics real estates, for example. If some manufacturing clusters on our way to globalization, we need to cope with that. So in most of the emerging markets, manufacturing clusters are being set up and being erected, and there is no logistics infrastructure. So there is a new market for the logistics company, for the third-party logistics companies, to set up logistic network, logistics infrastructure, and to be a service provider for the manufacturing industry. They don't want to take care for the logistics services. They just need a very effective supply chain. And so these service providers, they take care for that. They erect new facilities in the vicinity of the manufacturing industry, and they take care for warehousing, distribution, supply, delivery, etc. And if the market is finished, for example, and if new emerging markets come up, they can easily move with these facilities. So this is also an ongoing trend. So we talk about real estates as well.
So for those companies who have established logistics facilities, what further investment will they make?
They need to invest in in sophisticated technologies like RFID technologies, barcode tracking systems, because they have to be very flexible. The customer would like to know where the goods are, when will the goods be delivered, how much time does it need to deliver the product. And so RFID technology is a well-known technology, but I'm sure there is a huge potential for new applications for RFID, especially in the logistics sector. And I think the potential is not even finished.
The latest figures show that domestic logistics accounted for nearly 18% of total service industry revenue in the first half of this year.